Hello people, you're welcome back again to my channel. It's your girl Joy. Thanks so much for stopping by, and for those of you that are just coming across this channel or you are just seeing my face for the first time, I greet you specially. Please do not forget to like, comment and share this video. So recently we have been seeing the Canada new rules as per study, work permit, international students, and I'm like, what is really happening? So if you are coming to Canada to study, you may need to have a rethink because we have different policies coming up almost every day. Just imagine today you will hear that, oh, students can now do this. Another time you will hear students can no longer do this. So this sometimes wants to make your heart beat very fast. It's almost looking like the UK system. Now, you know, today they will say international students cannot come with their dependents. Other times they will face caregivers. You know, it's just almost looking the same. But in case you missed out on those updates, I'm here to bring the updates to you guys. And yeah, let's go. I'll be reacting to some of the points I'll be reading out. So first is concerning international students. We want to talk about the old policy. The old policy before was that international students in Canada will be able to change their educational institution without needing to reapply for a study permit. That was how it was before. And provided the new institution was a designated learning institution, which we commonly call DLI. So that was what we used to know, or that was the old policy. Now, the new policy is that if a student wishes to change their college or university, they must apply for a new study permit. This is especially relevant for those enrolled in private colleges, as the government aims to monitor and regulate student transitions more closely. Now, let's look at the implications of this new policy. The first is financial considerations. Changing institutions might incur additional costs. That's just it. If you now want to change, it's more money. I don't think it will be lesser. It is more financial cost, yeah, including application fees and then potential differences in tuition fees, which was not like that before. So the second one is increased paperwork. Now that you have to reapply for another work permit, it's more paperwork, which involves more documentations, and then probably you have to wait because it is not immediately you apply for work permit. It's not immediately you will get it. So increased paperwork, increased waiting time, increased documentation. So the third one here is planning required. For you to switch to another institution or college, you need to do your proper planning. The second update is that there is no longer a guaranteed path to permanent residency, also known as PR. Before now, when someone comes to study in Canada, the person will have study permits. From study permit to work permit. After work permit, we get PR. You know, it was like a straightforward process. And nearly every student that comes to study in Canada can become PR, although there may be exceptional cases. But the way it used to be, from study to work permit, then from work permit to PR. Now, the new policy is saying that the Canadian government, through recent statements by Immigration Minister, that is the person of Marcmiller, clarified that studying in Canada does not automatically lead to PR. So the primary purpose of a study permit is education, and not every student will qualify for PR. So that's the new policy. So now let's look at the implications of this new policy. The first implication is that you need to have plan B when you are coming to study in Canada. Now that they are trying to say that after studying, PR is not guaranteed, there is need for you to have a plan B. In fact, before you land Canada to study, start thinking of ways you can become a PR. Okay, you can explore express entry routes, you can explore PNP routes, and you can explore job offer routes. In fact, there are many ways you can now become a PR, just in case you don't get PR after studying. um, it is not like they're trying to say you can't become a PR, but it's more like a 50-50 thing. You may become a PR, maybe, yeah, after studying, but what if it's the other way around? So that's why you need to have plan B. Then the second implication is increased uncertainty. That one is straightforward. Will I get PR? Will I be sent back home? Many will I. So students cannot assume that completing their studies in Canada will lead to PR. The next update here is work permits post graduation. So the old policy was that graduates from Canadian institutions will receive a postgraduate work permit, which we all know as PGWP, which allowed them to gain work experience in Canada, and is often a step towards applying for PR. You know, when you have a PGWP, is one of the things you need to have to become a PR. But the new policy is saying that the new regulations introduce caps and restrictions on PGWPs. Not all graduates may receive a work permit, and the length or conditions of these permits may vary. Do you understand? So there is no assurance that even if you graduate, you will get your PGWP. So it's even similar to the second point I read. Like, there is no guarantee anymore. So it also means that you need to have plan B. So now let's look at the implications. There will now be competitive job markets. That is, the job markets may become more competitive with fewer work permits being issued. Yes, fewer work permits. They don't want to issue work permits to students that graduated. They don't want to issue PGWP. So there will be fewer work permits. So it's like the economy will now favor more of the PRs and citizens. Then another application is that there will be need for early career planning. So students should begin planning their careers early, possibly exploring internships or core programs that may lead to job offers. Before you graduate, start thinking wide, like start thinking out of the box. That, okay, what if I don't get job with this, just the way it is here. Explore internships that can, retain you. The third one here is limited work experience opportunities. So graduates may have fewer opportunities to gain the necessary Canadian work experience for PR. If you don't have work permit, how will you work? And if you don't work, how will you gain work experience? So, and if you don't have work experience, it will affect you when you are applying for PR. So the whole thing is tied in one way or the other. Let's go to visitor visa and deportation issues. So the old policy was that visitor visas were generally granted to individuals meeting the basic requirements with fewer instances of deportation from ports of entry. But the new policy is that there have been cases where visitors arriving in Canada on visitor visas have been turned back at the airport. This includes visitors who may have intended to stay longer or switch to another status, such as asylum seekers. But that's true. Some persons will say they are coming for visiting and they will stay longer. So before you know it, they are thinking of changing their visa status, which could take a very long time and which is also very stressful. But some people used to scale through because there are some pathways that will require you to be in Canada, even if you're a visitor. There are some things you can apply for that you even be considered first compared to someone outside of Canada. Like, let's say this job offer now, they will tell you, okay, you can be a temporary resident. Yeah. And being a visitor here means you're a temporary resident. But if you're applying for that job, your address will carry a Canadian address. More like it's giving you an edge. Do you understand? But now it's no longer like that. So let's look at the implications. First is risk of deportation. Visitors not meeting entry criteria or suspected of intending to overstay may be deported immediately. I think I did a video on that, on how some Nigerians and Indians were denied entry. But later, CBSA came to clarify those news. To me, I saw it in a way that one needs to be careful when you're applying for your visa, either visiting visa or PR or any visa at all in Canada. The second one here is stricter border control. Canadian border services are closely scrutinizing visitor intentions and documentation. So when they sense that your plan is not to go back to your home country, they may not give you the visa. We have been hearing lately that some people are being turned back at the port of entry, so we need to be very careful. The third one is preparation and documentation. Visitors should ensure their travel documents and stated purposes for visiting Canada are clear and convincing. The next update here is asylum and refugee claims. Yeah, it's another way people come to Canada. They will come and they will claim a refugee like that. So let's see the update on that. The old policy was that Canada had a relatively robust system for handling asylum and refugee claims, with long processing times, allowing applicants to stay and potentially work in Canada while their claims were processed. That's what we used to know. They would just say, oh, in my home country, there is unrest, there is this, there is that. Sometimes the government will even provide shelter for them, feed them. Some of them will even be doing all these skills, learning skills. That was what it used to be before. But now, the new policy is saying processing times for asylum claims have been accelerated, and there is a crackdown on ineligible claims. The government is emphasizing that asylum should not be seen as an alternative immigration pathway for those not meeting other visa criteria. This point is simply saying that when you are thinking of pathways to relocate to Canada, remove asylum and refugee claims. Don't even include it while thinking of pathways to come to Canada, because there is now crackdown on ineligible claims and the processing times have been accelerated. So it should not look as if you are leaving frying pan and entering fire. Okay, so the best is not even to think about asylum as a way out or to become a PR. Okay, so now let's look at the implications of this new policy. There will now be quicker decisions. So the time for you to arrange yourself, arrange your life is no longer there. So asylum seekers will receive quicker decisions, reducing the time they can spend in Canada during the claim process. You know, another thing is that when these asylum seekers are marking time, some of them can start working, something that they can quickly do so that they can easily use it to apply for PR. But that time will no longer be there. There will now be quicker decision. And when there are quicker decisions like that, in most cases, it's to the negative side. They can just tell you, oh, sorry, I don't think you can stay here, you know. I'm just saying, no, I'm just saying. So the other one is increased deportations. There is a higher likelihood of deportation for those whose claims are rejected or who are found to have applied without valid grounds. And lastly, need for legal guardians. So potential asylum seekers should seek legal advice to ensure their claims are valid and well prepared. Yes, there are cases where there is need for this refugee claim. Yes, if you are in a country that has war or there is no peace, you could be considered, but you need to have a good lawyer. You need to seek good legal advice for you to be able to execute your plans. It is well, guys. I hope this information was helpful. Kindly help me share this video. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do, because I'll keep saying it. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Yeah, thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to see you all in my next video. Bye.